Hello everyone, welcome to today's second stimulus check update video. So in this video we will go over what we know so far regarding the second stimulus check, the stimulus package, the HEALS Act, and the extended unemployment benefits. I have gone through all the current news and information that's available, and we will discuss the most relevant and important ones that we have found. As always, I will link these articles in the description of this video. Transparency have always been the cornerstone of my channel, and if you want to check out these articles that I will discuss with you, feel free to do so. You will be able to find a link in the description. Finally, just a friendly reminder, this is not a political channel. This is a channel on personal finance and investing, so my request to everyone would be to be respectful towards the other political party in the comment section below. Despite if you're a Republican or a Democrat or whichever party you support, let's be respectful towards each other in the comment section below. With that being said, guys, let's get right into it. So the first article we will discuss is from CNBC. Worried about paying your bills? Here's who would qualify for a second $1,200 stimulus check. Both Democrats and Republicans are calling for a second round of stimulus checks in their coronavirus relief plans. It's likely that another economic impact payment will be agreed upon in the coming weeks. For those who qualify, these checks are much needed. Unemployment remains at an all-time high, and an additional $600 unemployment benefits expired at the end of July. Many Americans wonder how they will pay the bills, and several financial institutions are extending their financial assistance programs to help consumers who are struggling to make ends meet. According to a memo from the Senate Finance Committee released on the heels of the last week proposal, the qualifications to receive another stimulus check mirror what has passed back in March under the CARES Act. So guys, all the signs are pointing to the fact that it would be very similar to the first stimulus check, the first extended unemployment benefit, also released under the CARES Act. Here's who would qualify. Individuals earning a gross adjusted income of up to $75,000 per year in 2019 would receive the full $1,200. From there, the checks would be reduced by $5 for every $100, phasing out completely at $99,000. Couples earning a gross adjusted income up to $150,000 per year in 2019 received the full $2,400. From there, the checks would be reduced by $5 every $100 in income and phasing out completely at $198,000. Individuals with dependents would receive an additional $500 for each dependent of any age. Under the CARES Act, dependents had to be under 17 years of age. Democrats proposed raising dependent pay to $1,200 for each and capping it at 3 dependents per household. So I don't know how much it would come to fruition in terms of increasing the dollar amount per dependent, but I do think it's extremely likely that they would remove the age limit from the dependents. As in the CARES Act, only individuals who were dependents and were under 17 years of age received the $500, but I think in the HEALS Act, it could be dependents of any age, and they would still receive the payment for the dependents, which may include your elderly relatives or loved ones that you may care about. Individuals with no income and those whose income comes from programs such as Social Security would still be eligible for the full rebate amount. So this is good because individuals who may have been retired or may be disabled would qualify for the stimulus check. Under the Senate's new bill, anyone who died prior to January 1st of 2020 and anyone in prison would not receive a stimulus check. Leaders in the House, Senate, and White House are still debating key points of legislation, and Politico is reporting that a deal won't be reached until next week at the earliest. So seems like the August 7th deadline would be missed, but even if it is missed, based on what we know now, I don't think it would be missed by too much, or it won't go too long past the August 7th date, and we will take a deeper look at that in the other articles I will discuss in this video. How the stimulus money can help. If you already have your basic needs covered, such as housing and food costs, it's worth spending the stimulus check on paying off any outstanding credit card debt. Sally Krawcheck, co-founder and CEO of digital investment platform Ellevest, says that if you feel stable about your job and income right now, but have an outstanding credit card balance, put the money towards that debt. Because credit cards come with notoriously high interest rates, it's not worth carrying a balance if you can afford to chip away at it. And as your credit card balances decrease, your credit utilization also lowers, which helps improve your credit score. Depending on your credit score, you might also consider looking into transferring your debt into a balance transfer credit card. So guys, this is some good advice here. As I always mention in my videos, this is a channel about personal finance and investing. So I do have some great information on my channel, so I'll try to link this in the iCard here for my personal finance playlist. It has a lot of information on accounts and credit cards and credit scores, so if you guys want to check it out, feel free to do so. So moving on to the next article, it is from Forbes. Stimulus package agreement expected by Friday, but still not confirmed. So I'll skip right over this part as I have gone over this in my previous videos. I don't want to waste your time, so I'll get right to it. Commitment on timeline, reach deal by Friday. While still far apart on key issues, there's at least agreement on the schedule to reach an agreement. Negotiators committed to a timeline of striking a deal by the end of this week so that both the House and Senate could vote next week, according to reporters at both CNN and the Washington Post. Mnuchin touted commitment to reach an agreement by the end of this week, which is a week after the original deadline of last week, tweeted CNN's Phil Mattingly. Mnuchin said agreement reached on timeline, deal this week if they can make one, pass it next week. Echoed the Post's Erica Werner, offering a slightly more somber assessment. Whether this sticks remains to be seen, but even a timeline is at least a minor cause for celebration given the current state of discussions. Many unresolved issues. While this is a step in the right direction, there are still a number of unresolved issues that could derail even this loose timeline. Overall, the two sides are still far on overall cost of the relief bill. While Mnuchin highlighted progress, he also dismissed the cost of the HEROES Act, saying we are not going anything close to $3.4 trillion. That's just ridiculous. Schumer echoed Mnuchin's underlying assessment in recounting today's negotiation session. They made some concession, which we appreciated. We made some concession, which they appreciated. We're still far away on a lot of the important issues, but we're continuing. At least both sides are talking. Both sides are in agreement about sending Americans a second stimulus check, potentially $1,200 for single filers and other issues. I think on testing, we're close. On schools, in reality, we would be close if they wanted to be close. On childcare, hopefully on vaccine. Senator Roy Blunt from Missouri said, according to the Washington Post. However, on other issues, the two sides remain at odds. These include aid to state and local governments, as well as the thorniest part over what rate to extend the federal unemployment benefit. So yes, every single article, every single news that's coming out, that does seem to be the sticking point where both parties cannot agree on. Both Republicans and Democrats are negotiating what the federal unemployment benefit would be. I just hope both parties can come together and reach an agreement soon. Another potential issue has been an initial Republican demand to include a liability shield for businesses in the relief bill. McConnell had called originally the provision a red line in negotiations. but he has since taken a back seat in the negotiations. Earlier today, he ceded the point further, saying that he would support whatever agreement the White House and Democrats reached. Wherever this thing settles between the President of the United States and his team that have to sign it into law, and the Democrat not insignificant minority in the Senate and majority in the House is something I'm prepared to support, even if I have some problems with certain parts of it. So pressures ratcheting up on Congress. With the Senate set to recess on August 7th, members of Congress were starting to face the reality of heading home to face irate and struggling constituents without an agreement. How do you think it looks for us to be back home when this is unresolved? Said Senator John Cornyn of Texas. This is the most important thing we need to be doing. In an election year, this is a prospect many members do not want to face. Unemployment lapse continues. The consensus on a timeline to reach agreement and pass a bill is a step in the right direction, but will leave millions of Americans with a temporary lapse in federal unemployment benefits. It will be roughly 2 weeks from the time the new stimulus law is passed until more states are able to implement the new benefit scheme and resume payments. That means that if Congress is able to stick to its current timeline and pass the bill early next week, Americans may not see money arrive until the end of August, which would be more than 1 month since their last federal benefit payment. So guys, overall, even if a deal is reached early next week, and that is being optimistic, it would affect a lot of people. Like, we are still looking at end of August for the first stimulus bill to go out. The first stimulus check to go out. And I don't know how many people can really wait for that. And I think it's safe to assume at this point that we may not be able to reach a deal by this week. So that's it for this article. There are some other useful links at the bottom of this article, so if you want to check it out, please feel free to do so. And I try not to cover information I've already covered in a past stimulus check update, so if you have time, I do recommend checking out the second stimulus check playlist that I've made for you guys. I will link that in the iCard here. Also, if you have some useful information, please put them in the comments. Help out the community so others can easily find that information. Also, if you think someone will find this video helpful, please feel free to share this video with them. Moving on to the next article, this is also from Forbes. Stimulus bill expected next week. Here's when benefits would likely go out. So once again, I will not waste your time talking about this portion and go right to the point. What will the stimulus package likely include? Signs emerge that there may be agreement on continuing the $600 unemployment benefit. Yesterday, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell signaled his willingness to agree to a $600 federal unemployment benefit. Wherever this thing settles between the President of the United States and his team that have to sign it into law and the Democrats, not insignificant minority in the Senate and majority in the House, is something I'm prepared to support, even if I have some problems with certain parts of it, Mitch McConnell said. Mr. Mnuchin said that he and Mark Meadows, the White House Chief of Staff, proposed reviving the eviction moratorium through the end of the year. The HEALS Act, legislation introduced by the Senate Republicans, doesn't include an eviction moratorium. The HEROES Act, enacted by House Democrats, does include a moratorium. President Trump has signaled his support for reviving the eviction moratorium as well. As for stimulus checks, there seems to be less disagreement between the parties, although the details have not been disclosed. Based on the provisions in both the HEROES Act and HEALS Act, a $1,200 stimulus payment for eligible individuals seems likely. Mr. Mnuchin said that the president supports this amount. So that is good news. Seems like the $1,200 stimulus check is supported by both Republicans, Democrats, and the president. It also seems likely that the age restrictions on rebates for dependents found in the CARES Act will be removed. So exactly what I mentioned in one of the previous articles. Of course, the next round of stimulus relief requires passage in both the Senate and the House and approval by Mr. Trump. As Mr. McConnell has noted, there are some Republicans in the Senate who balk at the idea of adding trillions of dollars to the national debt. If you're looking for a total consensus among Republican senators, you're not going to find it. So we do have divisions about what to do. So when will the benefits go out? The big question on the minds of many is when the government issues stimulus checks and resume federal unemployment benefits. As for the stimulus checks, the government should release them faster than the first payment sent out under the CARES Act. The first payment took about 3 weeks to start going out, with many recipients waiting much longer. Mr. Mnuchin said earlier this week, however, the second stimulus check could go out the following week after the stimulus relief is signed into law. I could have them out immediately. If I could get the bill passed tomorrow, I could start printing them the following week. I could get out 50 million payments really quickly. Resuming the $600 unemployment benefit or whatever amount is ultimately agreed upon is more complicated. I agree with this statement. Like I said also in the previous article, this is where all the negotiation is happening. This is the main point of disagreement. This is what Republicans and Democrats need to come together on. Unlike the stimulus check, these benefits don't involve the Treasury simply issuing checks or direct deposit. Instead, the payments are made through state unemployment insurance systems. According to a CNBC report, states made changes to their computer system when the $600 benefit expired. To reverse those changes and resume an enhanced unemployment benefit could still take weeks, even for those states with modernized systems. So I really hope it does not take weeks to do that. I don't know what the status is in terms of technology for some of the states, but I guess we'll see. Right now, I think what Congress needs to do is come to an agreement and pass this bill. And I think we could take a look at what the states are doing at a later stage. So guys, that is all the latest news that we have so far regarding the second stimulus check or the second stimulus update. So as more information comes to light, I will keep you guys updated. So if you want to remain updated on the stimulus check and the stimulus package updates, I do recommend subscribing to this channel so you always know when these videos come out. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. It lets me know that you guys found this video helpful or at least interesting. And that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.